Book of Heaven, Volume 12. 17th to 24th. January 1921. Page 176 to 181. January 17, 1921. The fiat mihi of the Most Holy Virgin had the same power of the creative fiat. The third fiat will be the fulfillment and the completion of the prayer taught by Jesus. Fiat voluntas tua sicut in cielo et in terra. I felt my poor mind immersed in the immense sea of the divine volition. I could see the mark of the fiat everywhere. I saw it in the sun, and it seemed to me that the echo of the fiat in the sun brought me divine love, which darted through me, wounded me and flashed through me. And I, on the wings of the fiat of the sun, went up to the Eternal One bringing, in the name of the whole human family, the love which darted, wounded, and flashed through the Supreme Majesty. And I said, in your fiat you gave me all this love, and only in the fiat can I return it to you. I looked at the stars and I could see the fiat in them, and in their sweet and meek glittering, this fiat brought me pacific love, sweet love, hidden love, compassionate love in the very night of sin. And I, in the fiat of the stars, in the name of all, brought to the throne of the Eternal One, pacific love in order to put peace between heaven and earth, the sweet love of the loving souls, the hidden love of many others, the love of the creatures when, after sin, they come back to God. But who can say all that I understood and did in the many fiats which were scattered over all creation? I would be too long, so I stop here. Then, my sweet Jesus took my hands in his own, and squeezing them tightly, told me, "My daughter, the fiat is all full of life. Even more, it is life itself. And this is why all lives and all things come from within the fiat. Creation came out from my fiat, therefore in each created thing one can see the mark of the fiat. Redemption came out from the fiat mihi of my dear Mama, pronounced in my volition and carrying the same power of my creative fiat. Therefore, there is nothing in redemption which does not contain the mark of the fiat mihi of my Mama. Even my very humanity, my steps, words and works were marked by her fiat mihi. My pains, my wounds, my thorns, my cross, my blood, had the mark of her fiat mihi, because things carry the mark of the origin from which they come. My origin in time was the fiat mihi of the Immaculate Mama. Therefore all of my works carry the mark of her fiat mihi. So, her fiat mihi is in each sacramental host. If man rises again from sin, if the newborn is baptized, if heaven opens to receive souls, it is the fiat mihi of my Mama that marks everything, follows everything, and from it everything proceeds. Oh, power of the fiat! It rises every instant, it multiplies, and it becomes life of all goods. Now I want to tell you why I asked for your fiat, your yes, in my volition. I want the prayer which I taught, the fiat voluntas tua sicut in cielo et in terra, this prayer of so many centuries, of so many generations, to have its fulfillment and completion. This is why I wanted another yes in my volition, another fiat containing the creative power. I want the fiat that rises every instant and multiplies in everyone. I want, in one soul, my own fiat, which ascends to my throne and, by its creative power, brings upon earth the life of the fiat on earth as it is in heaven. Surprised and annihilated in hearing this, I said, "Jesus, what are you saying? Yet, you know how bad and incapable of anything I am." And he, "My daughter, it is my usual way to choose the most abject, unable, poor souls for my greatest works. Even my Mama had nothing extraordinary in her exterior life. No miracles. Not a sign that would distinguish her from other women. Her only distinction was perfect virtue, to which almost no one paid attention. And if to other saints I gave the distinction of miracles, and I adorned others with my wounds, to my Mama, nothing. Nothing. Yet, she was the portent of portents, the miracle of miracles, the true and perfect crucified, no one else like her. I usually act like a master who has two servants. One of them seems a Herculean giant, good at everything. The other one is short, unable, and seems to be good at nothing, not an important service. If the master keeps him, it is more for charity, and also for fun. Now, having to send 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, to another town, what does he do? He calls the little and incapable one, and entrusts the great sum to him, saying to himself, "If I give it to the giant, all will fix their attention on him, thieves may attack him and rob him, and if he tries to defend himself with his Herculean strength, he may be wounded. I know that he is capable, but I want to spare him. I do not want to expose him to the obvious danger. On the other hand, no one will pay attention to this little one, knowing him to be incapable. No one would think that I would entrust such an important sum to him, and so he will come back safe and sound." The poor incapable one is surprised that the master would trust him, when he could have used the giant, and all trembling and humble, he goes to deposit the great sum, with no one deigning to give him even a glance. So, he returns safe and sound to his master, more trembling and humble than before. So I do, the greater the work I want to do, the more I choose abject, poor, ignorant souls, with no outward appearance which may expose them. The abject state of the soul will serve as safe custody for my work. The thieves of self-esteem and love of self will not pay attention to her, knowing her inability. And she, humble and trembling, will carry out the office entrusted by me, knowing that she has done nothing by herself, but that I did everything in her. January 24, 1921. The third fiat will bring to completion the glory and the honor of the fiat of creation, and will be confirmation and development of the fruits of the fiat of redemption. These three fiats will conceal the most holy Trinity on earth. I was feeling annihilated in thinking about this blessed fiat, but my lovable Jesus wanted to increase my confusion. It seems that he wants to make fun of me, proposing to me astonishing and almost incredible things, taking pleasure in seeing me confused and more annihilated. And what is worse, is that I am forced by obedience to write them, to my greater torment. So, while I was praying, my sweet Jesus leaned his head against mine, sustaining his forehead with his hand, and a light coming from his forehead told me, "My daughter, the first fiat was pronounced in creation with no intervention of creature. The second fiat was pronounced in redemption. I wanted the intervention of the creature, and I chose my mama for the completion of the second fiat. Now, for the fulfillment of both, I want to pronounce the third fiat, and I want to pronounce it through you. I have chosen you for the fulfillment of the third fiat. This third fiat will bring to completion the glory and the honor of the fiat of creation, and will be confirmation and development of the fruits of the fiat of redemption. These three fiats will conceal the most holy Trinity on earth, and I will have the fiat voluntas tua on earth as it is in heaven. These three fiats will be inseparable, each one will be life of the other. They will be one and triune, but distinct among themselves. My love wants it. My glory demands it. Having unleashed the first two fiats from the womb of my creative power, it wants to unleash the third fiat, because my love can no longer contain it, and this, in order to complete the work which came from me. Otherwise, the works of creation and of redemption would be incomplete." On hearing this, I was not only confused, but stunned, and I said to myself, "Is all this possible? There are so many. And if it is true that he has chosen me, it seems to me that this is one of the usual follies of Jesus." And then, what could I do or say from within a bed, half crippled and inept as I am? Could I ever face the multiplicity and infinity of the fiat of creation and of redemption? Since my fiat is similar to the other two fiats, I must run together with them, multiply myself with them, do the good which they do, braid myself with them. Jesus, think of what you are doing. I am not for this much. But who can tell all the nonsense that I was saying? Now, my sweet Jesus came back and told me, "My daughter, calm yourself. I choose whomever I please. However, know that I begin all of my works between myself and one creature, and then they are spread." In fact, who was the first spectator of the fiat of my creation? Adam, and then Eve. It surely wasn't a multitude of people. Only after years and years did crowds and multitudes of people become spectators of it. In the second fiat my mama was the only spectator. Not even Saint Joseph knew anything, and my mama found herself more than in your condition. The greatness of the creative power of my work which she felt within herself was such that, confused, she did not feel the strength to mention it to anyone. And if, then, Saint Joseph knew it, it was because I manifested it to him. So, this fiat germinated like a seed within her virginal womb. The ear of grain was formed in order to multiply it, and then it came to the light of day. But who were the spectators? Very few. In the room of Nazareth my dear Mama and Saint Joseph were the only spectators. Then, when my most holy humanity grew up, I went out and I made myself known, but not to all. Afterwards, it spread more, and it will still spread. So will the third fiat be. It will germinate within you, the ear of grain will be formed, only the priest will have knowledge of it. Then, a few souls, and then, it will spread. It will spread, and will follow the same path as creation and redemption. The more crushed you feel, the more the ear of the third fiat grows and is fecundated in you. Therefore, be attentive and faithful.